I just want to take a moment to connect with you and ask for your permission to be intimate. And I really love to slow down the pace and really be really present, because this is what intimacy is about, right? To be really present and to be really slow so we can see each other, right? And I'm very excited. I must say I'm very excited to be here. And I already connected with so many of you on a very deep, intimate level. And that's just the way I do things. Like, I just want to ask your permission. Is it okay to be intimate? Are you ready to go there? Perfect. So because Amanda gave me such a great introduction already, I will start with my story that really represents my work, my sole purpose, and why I'm here. Honestly, I used to disrespect women. And I'm not afraid to say it now. I saw them as possessive, jealous, manipulative, overly emotional, dramatic creatures. And I didn't trust them. Who could relate to that? All right. I'm not alone, right? And I was really a loving man, and I always had good connection with men. I was a tomboy, and in my early 20s, I discovered skydiving, which is like extreme sport, and there were lots of men. I made lots of male friends. I was hanging with men all the time, right? And skydiving was expensive sport, so I decided I need business. So I was really successful in construction and real estate investment business when I lived in Ukraine. And that is, as you know, it is very masculine, right? So it's completely masculine, and I had lots of fun. I can't complain, and I did have lots of fun. I traveled the world, I did my adventures, I had lots of friends that I really connected with. But there was one area in my life that I was extremely unsatisfying. And that was relationship, right? Relationship with men, romantic relationship with men. I could, have male friends, buddies, but I couldn't stay in the relationship long enough. They didn't last. And I was breaking up, starting new, breaking up, starting new. At some point, I was like, well, that's not satisfying. I'm not happy with this. Why doesn't it work? I really want deep, intimate, lasting, loving, authentic relationship with the right man, and it didn't happen. So I decided to take a break. I took a break from having relationships, and I went within myself, and I did a bunch of my own inner work. And what I discovered actually blew my mind, right? I discovered that I was completely denying anything feminine within myself. I was not identifying myself with women, with feminine, and I was building my own relationship with the man. But I liked strong men, I didn't want submissive ones. But I was building my relationship with a man while I was a man myself. So what happens when two males spend lots of intimate time for a long time in the same space? Who can say that? Right. Exactly. That's what happened to me. So every time two males in the same space, they always fight, they always compete, they always have this power struggle. And even if you look in the animal world, on that level, it's archetypal, masculine qualities, you can see that two males of the same species, they always fight for territory, for females, for food. And if you look at the females of the same species, they never fight. They share the land, they eat grass, they even take care of each other's babies. I need a sip of water. A little break.
Everybody take a sip of water. Hydrate or die.
All right, feel better now. So that was a huge discovery for me. And I realized, wow, now I understand. I was building my own relationship with a man, and there was always this constant struggle, a power struggle, a fight, demanding, I was in my power, but I was in my masculine power, right? So that actually shaped my soul purpose. I discovered my soul purpose this way, and it shaped what I started to do professionally and changed my path completely. So the universe actually helped me in this path. And sometimes something bad happens and we see it as negative. But when we look back, it was actually the best blessing in our life, right? And that's what happened to me. My old life started to fall apart, relationship, business, situation in my country. There was like a war in my country. Civil war at the time. So all these situations, they started to push me out of my comfort zone, and I was kind of holding back. No, I don't want to let go of everything, but I had to. And I had these powerful experiences through breath work, actually, experiential work, when I realized my deepest desires, my soul purpose, and why my relationship didn't work, right? So at some point, I also made huge decisions, and I moved to California because I started to really go into my feminine. I started to listen to that guidance and receive these divine downloads, what's the next step, what I should do, and really trusting that. So I left everything behind, I packed my car. I lived in Washington, D.C., it's a long story. And I just put everything that fits in my car, and I moved to California because I received the guidance talking about following the spirits. And my daughter, I was a single mom, and my daughter was like 2.5 years old. And I was just so passionate about it. I knew that was, I needed to do that. So in California, I met my soul partner, who I'm with today. And I started my business. I've done lots of other work. And I started to build a relationship from a different place, from my feminine. And then that transformed everything. I actually discovered recently, I've been working on this desires, right? Why it's important. I discovered that my biggest desire in this life was intimacy. This deep connection, spiritual intimacy, when you look in somebody's eyes and you see, and you say, I see you, I remember you, I know who you are. And that, I was blocking that because I was not in that receiving place, right? I was not in my feminine. So this actually blew my mind. It's a different dimension of connection, intimacy, love, and support. When you connect on this level, it's unbreakable. So that's my personal story. And today I want to share some pieces of my work, right? The first one I want to share what is the feminine power, right? We'll talk about feminine power, what is that, what does it mean exactly, right? So let's look at the world. The world is still very, very masculine. It's based on masculine values and masculine structures. What are masculine qualities? Who can help me with this?
Goals, drive, ambition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amanda Moxley.
Yeah. Good. What else? Yeah, working hard.
Pushing.
Strong. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, logical. Competition. Oh, that's a good one. Competition. What else?
Logic.
Mm-hmm. Logic, sports, competition. Yeah.
Winning.
Winning and losing. Mm-hmm. Right and wrong.
Yeah,
duality. How much of that we have in our life? All the time. We talk about winning and losing. Mm-hmm. Do we need to? That was I asked myself, do I need to win or lose? I'm stepping out of that game. I'm in my feminine. And we'll talk more about it. What are the feminine qualities?
Receiving.
Soft.
Nurturing.
Nurturing. Receptive. Giving birth. Compassion.
Powerful.
Receiving, yes. creation, connection, yes, beauty, yeah, cuddling, yeah,
Sisterhood.
sisterhood, bringing things to oneness versus competition, community, yes, sharing, right, strength, yeah, that intuitive strength, right, this
Resilience.
intuition, belly dance, yeah,
Resilience.
resilience,
You know,
yes,
to be a single mom and like we do so much. We carry a lot.
safety, yes. Beautiful. So I want to emphasize two feminine qualities that were always dangerous in the world, and that's why I believe the feminine was suppressed for thousands and thousands of years. Not just because women didn't have rights and freedoms as men did, but also all these qualities, even within men and women, because we all have both energies, right? They were oppressed and they were dangerous. Why? Because of that intuition and because of seeing the energy, right? What is feminine? We can connect with the divine, right? That's the intuition. Divine, receiving from the divine, receiving the guidance versus going to the authority. And then on the horizontal level, we see each other. Women are intuitive. You know when something is off. You don't need explanation. You don't need proof. That's a masculine quality. You just know. You don't need to explain anything. So that is very dangerous because that cannot be controlled or manipulated. And now, I wanted to mention the feminism, right? We say, yeah, what is a feminism? Like, we've got our rights and freedoms. Well, it was a very beautiful movement, and it was really appropriate at the time. But the feminism didn't change the system. It adapted to it. Women became powerful, but in a masculine way, right? That's why we have so much pain in our relationships with men. There's a big wound between feminine and masculine that needs to be healed. So now is the second wave of transformation. Now we're bringing all these feminine qualities back into our life. On the individual level, empowered woman means that all these qualities she integrates back into herself. She loves them, she claims them, she owns them, and she lives and builds her relationship from that place. That's on the individual level. And on collective level, my dream is to see that the system will integrate all these qualities and it will accept, appreciate, and support them as much as masculine qualities. Then we will have a balanced world. Lots of wood.
I like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so passionate about it. All right, that was a long speech, and I know I'm going over time. And I just allow myself, because the feminine is not good with time. Thank you so much. So I want to share something practical with you, something that you can take home, something that you can maybe become more present with and integrate into your life and help yourself to be more intimate with yourself, with your partner, and with your business and the world, right? So I want to mention three. I wrote it down there.
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
Oh, thank you.
You keep going.
So I wanted to share three things that can be helpful to understand the feminine power and how it can create more intimacy in your life and how it can actually blow your mind in your relationships. The first one is emotional mastery. We women are the leaders, and that's a very powerful statement. I want to really think in the meaning right now. We women, when we are in our feminine power, we are the leaders in their area of emotions, relationships, and intimacy. We are the leaders. And here's why. It's very short here. The first one is emotional mastery. And when we really think and integrate our feminine, we don't see emotions as something negative. Even if we are very, very intense women, emotionally intense. We see even negative emotions as instrumental tool to navigate our life, to navigate our relationship. And I can share a metaphor with you so you can really understand what I mean. Let's say you are on the ship, and emotions, this is the ocean that you're navigating, right? And you're inside the ship, and you see the rock in the ocean. And that's the negative emotion, whatever it is, like fear or anger. And you have two choices. If you want to see it as a negative, you can go ahead and crash, crash into the rock. If you see it as something like your instrument, if you see it as a tool, you can go around. You can course correct because you own it, right? So I don't see any emotions as negative. They're all good. They are our gifts. It's our gift. And when we integrate that power and learn from them and learn to navigate them, we'll master them. And that will be the first part of become really powerful woman and really rock your relationship with your man because he will learn from you. Your leadership in the emotional sphere is almost like absolute. It takes forever for men to process emotions. And culturally, you know, right? You're ready to resolve everything, and he's like, no, I'm going to bed. So that will be really, really powerful if you can integrate, and you will be able to create safe, emotionally safe spaces for your man to open up, trust you, and open up on a deeper level, access his own emotions. You will lead him there, and then you will access that new dimension of intimacy. The second one, the desires. We talk so much about desires, but what I would like to pay attention is here, what I mean here, these are your deep, deep soul desires. They are not commercial ones. Yeah, you might want a car or a house. That's beautiful, and I want better house too. But what I mean here is the deepest, deepest desires. And sometimes it's really hard to dig them out, you know. I only recently I could really access them, and that was this intimacy piece. Because sometimes your biggest desire is actually hidden behind your deepest wound. That is so powerful, yes. Because I never believed that that level of intimacy that I wanted is possible. I thought it's from fifth dimension. Right? So I had to do lots of my inner work to be able to be intimate with the world and be here with you. So digging into that, healing your wounds and accessing your deepest desires. And this is part of Tantra as well. The Tantra is very powerful. And it's not just about sexual peace, it's about energy presence, intensity of the experience, and deepening the level of experience. I don't need more water. And the last piece is receiving, and we've been talking about this piece as well. What we haven't mentioned, I believe, and I would like to emphasize, is that you can't give and receive at the same time. Have you ever thought about it? This is so crucial, like it really was game-changing for me. Because, I'm a giving person, and my parents were really teaching me how to give to others. And nobody was teaching how to receive. So if I would say I want something for myself, I would be like selfish. How many of you can relate? Yes. So what I mentioned here, when it comes to relationship with men, we are women, we are receivers in our relationship with men. And I really like sinking into that, right? We are receivers in relationship with men. And if you look at the world and the history, it's all upside down because women give so much. They give to their children, they give to their family, they give to their man, to give to the society. All this obligation to give, and we forget how it feels to receive. And sometimes when you want to receive, you're already thinking how you're going to give back. Mm-hmm. right?
Yep.
So how does it feel to completely let go of giving and just sink into 100% receiving? And even think on a biological level, when in order for a woman to give birth to a child, she first receives the sperm of the man. And it applies to every area of your life and your relationship. We need to receive first, and then we'll be able to give. And we're generous givers. We give life. That is so powerful, and that is so fundamental, and it can change the world. We can change the world this way. So my free gift for you today is my archetype quiz that I created for women to integrate their feminine power. Because besides these fundamental principles, we're also very different. We're different women. We're wired differently. Somebody is like, ooh, queen, rocking everything. Another one is more like a goddess. She just is, right? She doesn't need to do much. And there are so many, that I've actually developed a system of 4 archetypes. So you can go through the quiz and find out what's your archetype. And then you will build your relationship from that place, accepting yourself for who you really are. Not trying to be somebody else. And that can apply also to business, because sometimes we're trying to be this, take this masculine, different educational pieces, and then it doesn't work for us, and we feel like failures. But it's because it's not meant to be for us. We're wired differently. Like me, for example, many things don't work for me because I'm a mystic archetype, and I dig really deep, and it feels like it takes forever, but then I dig some treasure out of it, So I invite you to take that quiz. You can go to my website, lanaelkacoaching.com, and there is right there on the first homepage. You take the quiz, and I have this this form that I give you, and you can write down your email and phone number and name, and we can connect more. Also, I'd like to mention, only share your email if you feel it's right for you, because for intimate relationship, it's very important that you are willing. It's based on your free will. I can totally relate to you, Jamie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, beautiful ladies.
Woohoo! Thank you.